welcome to everyone's show. This is a program, a platform for women. Our aim is to empower women in the Gambia. We want to be the voice of Gambian women and girls. My name is Monica Njai. Today I'm having a chat with a Gambian, a politician, the leader of the NRP, the current Minister of Tourism and Culture, a former teacher, former accountant, former hotel manager, and a politician, yes.
Businessman, farmer.
And a businessman, a farmer. The list goes on. He's a man of talent, right? They normally say jack of all trades, and I'll say jack of all trades, but master of all as well.
Thank you.
As they always say. I'm honored to have you, Mr. Bak, today.
It's a pleasure talking to you too.
Fantastic. My first questions for you, I know you, but for people who don't know who Ahmad is, who are you? Who is Ahmad Ba?
Ahmad Ba is a Salum son, born in Upper Salum, brought up by parents of farmers. Ahmad Ba is somebody who have gone through the traditional Quranic school, went to the village to read the Quran. Finally was taken out of that traditional school called the Dara, the Budal. They call it as various names. Then taken to school forcefully because immediately after independence, it was imposed on alcalos at the time to show example the importance of Western education. Prior to that, only sons of chiefs were given the opportunity in the provinces to go to school. But after independence, alcalos were asked to show example and that they must take their kids to school. So as a result of that demand, my father withdrew me from the local Quranic traditional school. We brought a big rift between my mom and my dad. My mom felt that by virtue of our historic background, parents have been very renowned scholars. The concept of going to Western education was an evil thing at the time, a taboo for that matter. And then of course, at the end of the day, my mother relented and accepted that it was the order of her father who had a greater share in the say of her son. I resisted for a couple of years, but finally accepted to do. And I spent 4 years in my primary school education. When I passed my common entrance, the payment of the fees was very difficult at the time to go to a senior secondary school straight. Instead, I had to go to farming, and farming my father supported me. Then from the secondary school, I went to high school to do my O levels, and then to college and did my final professional education in France, and then came back. And of course, prior to that, when I finished school, I went to join the teaching field. I taught as a teacher for 2 years, then sat to a college entrance examination. Was admitted to Gambia College. But later on, was expelled because of the strike, the 1981 strike, which of course eventually was followed by the Western final attempt to go through the government regime. And we became victims of that strike. But all the same, we struggled throughout. Changed field, studied accounts, became an accounts clerk, later was to other ranks, go to the field. And then of course, changed again, became a hotelier, rose to the highest rank. And then eventually changed again, got into politics and resigned as a hotelier. As a politician, member of parliament, again went back to the business of hotel. And then of course, still very determined and ready and getting prepared to be president at the appropriate time.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I can see your drive that
Yes.
you will get to that point.
Yes.
Right. What would you say is your strength? What is your strongest point?
My strongest point has always been my desire to get things achieved, to accomplish my mission. I've always been driven by my desire to get things done. And I think I'm not regretting that. Sometimes, of course, there are ups and downs in that process. But I believe that my ultimate desire to get results, because it's the way I was brought up, the administration, people that I worked for. When I was working as an accounts clerk at the KHR Lamps and so on, I worked with people like TB Foon and others, and worked with other people at different levels. And it gave me the desire at all times to produce results. And as also an operational manager, managing many departments in the hotel industry, one of the biggest hotels in the Gambia.
That's Novotel.
Yes, the judgment was always results. You have no other excuse. You must produce results. And that's the way forward. And I've always been driven by my desire at all times to get results, positive results. And at the point I was the only manager whose decision is never questioned, but not produce results. Nobody ever questioned my decision, but then the results must be on the table. That was how I was employed. I had everything free and open, transparent. Whatever I wanted was made available to me, but I also deliver results. That was the style of management that the Accord Group have adopted, and it succeeded in most cases, where people were determined based on their results.
So would you say now, being in the Tash Republic, is a different Gambia?
Yes, it's a completely different Gambia. A Gambia where you cannot hide anything. Everything will be subject to scrutiny.
Is it divided? Is it divided?
Divided over what?
In terms of, some would call it tribalism. I will say it's nepotism.
No,
because
we
have on social media all the Gambians.
Let me just put
Yes.
it this way. I think some of us are abusing the right to freedom of expression. And I think
That's true.
I can tell you that honestly, we go to extreme and to make the unnecessary necessary. And as a result of which, we seem to be missing the point.
But is it divided?
Opinion-wise.
Opinion.
Yes.
Okay.
We all have a divided opinion.
Absolutely.
We're not a divided nation. We're together. But our opinions will always differ. We can never speak the same language. And I think, to be honest with you, the information, the discussion on social media could have done us better if we have concentrated in helping our rural women, try to educate them, how to stand up to their rights, how these women can realize certain things that are to them, particularly when it comes to the married life between a man and a woman. We could have better served that gap to be educating them. Let me give you a story. I lost my sister, very dear sister I love so much, because unwanted pregnancy was imposed on her when she was not well. And she died during the course of delivery with twins. And I know many women who died because they don't have the information, they don't have the power. They are not empowered by media, by the media people who are on social media, who could have done more to educate our women and help them and bring them up. That is a chance and opportunity we are missing in social media. We could have organized forums where women can participate. Because right now, the smallest village you go, they're listening to social media, online radios are everywhere. So it is an opportunity that we are missing greatly in empowering our women, educating our women of not only their political rights, but their social rights.
In private life as well.
Yes,
Yeah.
their rights in the bed, their rights in the private room, their rights at every level with their husbands. these are things that we are not using. We are missing the point greatly. And I felt so sad about that. That we prefer engaging in insult and exchanging bad, words against each other. Instead of helping our rural women, rural people, trying to bring them up, educating them to know their rights, to know their responsibility between them and their children, their wives, their husbands, and what they can do, what they cannot do, when to do it, when they cannot do it, when not to do it. I think these are key.
Very key.
To national development. But it's rather unfortunate. In the Gambia, we get engaged in insulting on tribal sentiments, expressing sentiments that are not fostering unity. Instead, they are destroying the fabrics of our society, sowing a seed of hatred that leads to nowhere.
I hope everyone that is listening to this, that is on social media as well, would take this opportunity and use the freedom of expression, the freedom of speech in a very positive way. Because you are the tourism minister, and social media plays a huge role in putting things. For example, if you have a tourist that is in the UK, would look at what the social media is talking about in the Gambia. If they're talking about tribalism, this is where I want it to be clear, because they have been writing and putting things that Gambia is a tribal country, or tribal, talking about a tribalist situation. But I think we are misinterpreting the two words. Tribalism, if you're talking about tribalism, you go to Sudan, go to, where, tribes are killing each other. In the Gambia, we have, a Mandinka would sit with a Jola. Mare, yes. We don't have a problem. We're not killing each other. So it is not tribal yet. I hope it's not going to be tribal. But nepotism is here. We have to deal with what is nepotism.
Nowhere there is no nepotism in the world. The French call it pistonage.
Yes.
In English, everywhere.
Yes.
It exists all over the world,
Yes.
in the United States.
Everywhere. That's true.
What is important is let's do what is right. I will give you one example. When I was in Parliament, I was the first parliamentarian on record to take up the issue of AIDS to the village level. And I empowered the women. Said, look, if your husband wants to marry a woman whose husband died, refuse the marriage until you get MRC. Never accept the marriage.
It's fantastic.
And it happened. I don't need to know that the kids they are on the media. It happened. Yes, when they said no, you're not going to get married until we go and have a test. I can't tell you, I can't go beyond that.
No, it's very clear.
This is
very clear.
I don't, because maybe there was some,
very clear.
Keep to ourselves. And the women became so empowered that became the song. As rulers, we are good. I mean, these are the things that we have to empower women. To show them that they have a right to say no to this, to say this, to accept that, and to accept that. But for us, what I see they talk about in the Gambia is hatred, and jealousy, and ignorance in most of the cases. It isn't about tribal. It's a question of hating somebody, being ignorant about the person, and jealousy that is really thriving in this country. And that is what is really setting us apart. And we need to really go back to the drawing board and see where are our priorities as a nation, as a country. Where are we going? Where are we from? We know, all know. Where are we headed? We don't know, but we need to know, so that we can shape up the way, sharply, and everybody knows where you're headed. But I can tell you that our women need more than they are getting from us.
Thank you very much. I would definitely say thank you for, hearing that from my mind, because women, Gambian women, we are one of the hardest working people on, if I say West Africa, it will be fair, but in the world. We work so hard, we in the center of every single thing. When it comes to politics, we're in the middle. We'll be doing the cooking, the drumming, bringing people together. You go to the office, you go home, women play a huge role. So to have men that are ready to kind of like give us a push and, be there, make sure, we're doing the right thing is another thing. Now we go to your field which is tourism, and still on women. We know tourism, when you talk about tourism, is there. You talk about the sex rate, is the two things comes together. You're the current minister, what is your look, what is your take on the sex trade, women? How can you look after them? Because that's what they have to do. Some people have to do it for a living. Like it or not, they have to do that. But how can you look after them? What is there for them?
Let me tell you, there's no sex trade in the Gambia. If you really want sex trade, you go to Thailand.
Yes.
Probably you have heard about it.
Absolutely. Thailand, yes.
If you have not been to Thailand,
Yeah.
you must have heard about Thailand.
Thailand, yes.
That's where you have sex trade. Not in the Gambia.
We don't have.
No. What we have, we cannot call it sex trade.
Okay, but we have things going on.
We have those small things where, see, most also understand tourists are not coming here looking for God.
Right.
They are not looking for God.
Absolutely, absolutely. So how can you look after them, the women, doing that?
These are just 1 out of every 200.
I would say 20 out of 100.
It's over exaggerated. Yeah, you talk about sex trade when somebody sells sex and somebody buys sex. When sex is not bought, it's consensual. It is not trade.
They're selling it there. So if it's that percentage,
okay.
If it's one out of the whole of the population.
I'm coming.
Okay.
There could be few. That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
It exists. But
That
the
few.
smallest of
Yes.
minority.
That few.
But where people can consensual and then agree to, it's a win-win situation between partners that become an issue of human life. That's just human. Where now somebody says, I am offering, I'm selling, I want to buy, it becomes a trade. That's where the issue of trade comes in. So they're misinterpreting the word. Sex desire and sex trade. It's not the same.
Okay.
We have a little bit of sex trade in the country because economic circumstances dictate some of the behaviors of human beings. And I think I'd rather be as a woman, go and solicit ways of trying to get something than take a knife to go and kill somebody to get his stuff. Go as a woman, break somebody's house, harm somebody. But if you feel that you could go and do something, it's wrong. Yes, religiously, it's wrong.
No, I don't condone them.
Religiously,
Religiously
it's wrong. But economically, you go to bigger countries. I don't want to name country, but I know countries where the university students are obliged in the evening to go out to get money to pay for their fees and become graduates.
In the UK?
No, I'm telling you, I saw it in Kenya, I saw it in Ethiopia, I saw it in many countries I've traveled most parts of the world. And they would tell you that I need to pay my fees to be a graduate to go and serve my country, and they become the best graduates. Some of them you don't know this, some of these big professors, how they got graduated, how they got their education. So I don't think you should go on hammering about this issue, making it a big issue.
No,
it is bad religiously, I don't like it. To tell the truth, our religion hates it, I'm not promoting it. I neither don't like it, and I pray that nobody get involved in it. But we must understand the circumstances.
They have to do what they have to do.
Yeah, you must understand the circumstances that this is happening in our little Gambia.
Absolutely.
I think it's all question of economic circumstances. And those economic circumstances can only be addressed when there are policies that are geared towards supporting the, those people who are involved in it. most countries when you go, there is easy credit facility in the microfinance institutions with very little interest. And they get small money, they go into small business, they have joined business together, they work, they generate money, they have profits to feed their families and all that. And you must also understand that a lot of marriages have gone bust in this country. And our men are not one of the kindest of people who help women in good faith in this country, just out of God, like that. Our men are not accredited with that type of attitude. And where a woman lives single, have no support base, nobody to support her, not even a job to support her, it will be extremely difficult for her to maintain a family without getting means of survival. I don't think I can describe that as a sex trade. No. You may think that way, but that is not my thinking. And this thing happened. That's why I said they are in the mountain by virtue of the extended family system in the Gambia. Even some cases you don't have it, your family comes in to support you. But in a situation where you have the nuclear family system, where there is very little care for, other extended relatives, and you do not have a job, your marriage is bust. You have 2 kids to feed, you have something somewhere to house them, you don't have a house, you need to clothe them, you need to take them to school, when they come back, you need to feed them. I can tell you as politicians, the cases we get sometimes when narrated to you, you'll be in tears. I have a student a couple of years ago, when he closes school, he does not expect lunch. The mother don't have lunch to give him to eat when he closes. The mother will run everywhere and can get a piece of bread, give it to the boy. They will soak it into water and a little bit of sugar, he will eat the boy. It's sad to narrate that story.
Absolutely.
In the morning, the boy will wake up very early to go, no lunch, no breakfast. And the student was bearing the pain what the pain was going through. A lot of these things exist in our society.
So there is hardship in the Gambia.
And there's what we call urban poverty, which is not recognized by the state, only by word of mouth, but not by action. And that's urban poverty is affecting many of our compatriots in the urban area. And unless we try to set policies, which I have no doubt that the Adam Mubarak government is going to do, we're going to really change the situation, because we've all been victims of the system. And we know what our parents, our families have gone through. And we must do what it takes to make sure that that is addressed. We cannot address it through quarrel and insult. We have to address it through dialogue, policy programs that when implemented would certainly go a long way in helping to resolve the current economic imbalances that we have in the country. Yes.
Still going back to that, I would not condone, even if it's 1% or 1 person or 10 doing the sex trade. It is what they have to do. They do what they have to do to get, living from it. But what I'm concerned about is you being the current minister. You know about the tourism very well. You're the right person for this ministerial job because you've started from the bottom to the top, so you know all the gaps. What I was trying to say is, what would you do for that 1%? For them to be safe.
Well,
in terms
first of all, we want to discourage them. We will try to discourage them by giving them alternative means of survival. That's number 1 task.
That's fantastic.
Right now, the industry is going through a complete overhaul. The general assessment going on throughout, looking at every aspect of from the women who is selling craft in the craft market, from the sand painter, from the taxi driver, the coach owner, from the airplane tour industry, including our cultural rights, all our monuments, all our cultural institutions, everywhere in this country has been crudely overhauled. And we are making a general assessment to know how much we need to improve on the standard of our product. Because we realize the product went down drastically. And we realize that the quality of guests have also dropped. And the segment of our guests who have changed. And we lost some destination massively. And there is a massive drop in terms of arrivals compared to where we should have been by now. And you know what we achieved and what we lost. Once that document is ready, we will know how much we need, or how much of money we need to fix this business. There and then, of course, we will source the money out and invest it into the system to make sure that everybody on board upgrades from one to another. But the problem with the issue of the little number of people doing the sex comfort, you call it, some call it sex trade. I don't want to use the word trade because it's not to the level of trade in the Gambia. It is not to the level of trade. I wish people go to Thailand and they see what is real sex trade.
True. It is a different level.
You go to Thailand or you go to other countries, you see what is real sex trade. It's a real trade there. This is not for us here. I think it's a little bit of, desire here and there. What we need to do is to engage them differently, offer them something. Nobody wants to do that job. It is not a job anybody wants to do. Take it from me. I am so open to women, some of them sit with me and they tell me when they do it how they feel it. Even when they go to WhatsApp, how they feel, the guilty content they have. At every level I interact with women.
Oh, yes.
You understand what I mean? So I know that nobody, I have never seen any one of them who said, I like doing it throughout my life in this. I hate doing it and I don't like to do it. That's the only thing you hear from them. So if you give them support, a little bit of financial support, there is no doubt that they will abandon it. And eventually, it will not fade off, but it will go to the barest minimum. There will always be one or two cases here and there. That's natural. Of course, it's natural that it can happen. But we are ready to engage them. That's why give them an alternative means of survival than getting engaged in the sex desire or sex for pleasure or whatever you call it.
Yes, we will look forward to having
We will do
you
it. We are concerned.
do that thing.
But only to Gambians for now.
Yes, that's fine.
We cannot afford to extend that beyond
Gambians.
Yes, for the time being.
And,
If not, everybody will run to Gambia.
and
And we cannot sustain that. We will not be able to sustain that. You understand?
that's
It's
correct.
only fair to say it that way.
That's correct.
Yes.
That's very clear.
Yes.
And we know how important tourism it is in the Gambian economy.
Yes.
I'll say is between 25 to 30% GDP,
Yes.
which is a huge margin because it's one of the second.
In fact, it's still bigger. We are saying agriculture, but let me just give an example. There is no rain, no agriculture.
Yeah. So then we say
Yes,
tourism
but
is
yes, I think.
first and second.
Yes, I think that's exactly what I think.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very key position in the Gambian economy.
Absolutely.
You play.
That's why we are having sleepless night.
Yes.
We do not sleep at all. Because 24/7 we are trying to see how we can transform this industry for the betterment of Gambia.
How would you improve what had happened or the job that was done the previous days and this year?
As I told
How do you expect to promote
you see,
tourism in the Gambia?
tourism is all about promotion.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about getting people to get the message. We're just coming from ITB in Bali, where of course all the players all over the world, the biggest tourism fair, one of the biggest in the world. We were there and we met key players who were in the Gambia and left. 10 minutes down the line after talking to me, they would tell me, stop, I'm convinced I'm coming back to Gambia. We got someone of that. had a huge attraction when we did it. It was exceptional. The Gambian delegation team did a wonderful job, great job. And we have very strong women who are with us. The director of tourism for Europe, and many other women who were with us, particularly the staff when we did exceptional, extraordinary. I cannot tell you how hard. I feel so sympathetic. And unfortunately, what was paid to them as per diem, when we paid their rooms, we were much for it. I felt so bad about that. We only had work. It was amazing. Yes, it was amazing. But, you know, people really appreciated that Gambia is back again. Our slogan, that Gambia is back again. And everybody become convinced that there is a new Gambia. And we are ready to come back. And inshallah, we know what their problems are. We hope we can address most of it, not all. And we can meet somewhere and they can also venture into the Gambia.
It's key because we almost depend on tourism. So we expect you to do a fantastic great job.
It's not an easy task because you need a lot of money to do marketing. You know that.
That's true. That's true.
And at the moment, the money is not there yet. But we are working towards it.
It will come back.
Yes.
It will come back.
It will come, inshallah.
So we come back to the bumsters.
Yes.
What is there to be changed with the bumsters?
Let me just make it very clear. Everybody knows that. I cannot compromise with the issue of bombing. Few people cannot destroy what is national interest. I will not compromise. And everybody knows my record from 1986 to date. 31 years ago, they know what my records are. My issue, my stand on the issue of bombs is away. If you finish, let me tell you, when you have 10 bombs and deal with them, the next day 30 will come to you. So there must be a clear-cut policy to address it. Period. And we cannot compromise with it.
So do you think isn't it going to affect the? You were talking about the locals. A bombster, me, I can be a bombster.
No, you cannot be a bombster.
If you stop me,
you cannot be a
it's
bombster.
going to affect.
No. Let me tell you, you have something else to do to support tourism and not being a bombster. You are killing tourism.
Okay. So you don't.
I don't tolerate.
You will not tolerate
No way.
bombsters.
Particularly harassing tourists, destroying the industry, destroying for Gambia. No way.
So if they're there, what would you do to stop?
When we get there, they will know what we are going to do. We are waiting for that.
Would you create a better thing
when
for
we
them?
get there, they will know what we are going to do.
Would you create a better thing for them to do instead of being?
No, listen to me. If you resolve the problem of today, the ones that are there, the next day 30 will be on the ground waiting for you. That's not the solution. We have to stop it. There are countries when you are caught bombing, you are in jail to the end of the season, it's a law. There are countries when you are caught bombing, you go to the firing squad, it's a law. It just shows you how grave it is, how concerned countries become with the issue of tourism. What we are going to do, I don't want to say, we wait for the moment, the time to come. We will resolve it. Even this morning, the top that came here said we are worried that we want to come back, but your bombing is becoming escalated. We do not think we should come back. Why should few people destroy for a whole nation? We will not accept that.
Tourist market, women selling in the tourist market. What is there for them after the tourist season?
No, during the course of this review, we'll try to see how we can cater for them, what we can do for them during the low season. Probably they can access soft loans, go and buy stuff, sell in the local markets, and then when the season is opening, they can then come back. No, you know what I mean? We cannot all be market
traders.
There are ways of surviving.
Tourist market.
Yes. And our women are so industrious. They can always find a way when given the opportunity.
Absolutely.
Yes. They can always find a way. So it's whether we are prepared and how prepared we are if we will get the opportunity. And I think we'll be there.
Yes. We cannot talk about tourism and leave the most homosexuality in the Gambia?
It's non-existent. It was just a mere word used as a propaganda by the former regime. There is no homosexuality in the Gambia. Period.
If
It's not an issue because it doesn't exist.
I'm guessing. Okay, let's put it this way. Let's just play the.
That was just
devil's
when the
advocate.
previous government used to distract public attention on the things that they were doing. What was happening? There is no homosexuality in the Gambia. It's not an issue.
Do we have tourists that come all the way from? You know, it would be very unfair for me to say mention a country. Maybe, for example, I would say UK, France, Germany. You know, men homosexuals. Coming to the Gambia to practice that or to introduce that to our
let's not
locals?
fool ourselves.
Do they?
Let's not fool ourselves. If they come to the Gambia and they are homosexual, they stay in their rooms and enjoy themselves. It's not anybody's business. They are not here looking for God. Let me repeat this statement again. They are here to enjoy themselves. If they are couples, if they feel like they are homosexual, and they want to enjoy themselves in their bedroom, is that anybody's business? What we don't want to do is to see them doing in the open.
Okay.
Period. That will not allow that to happen. No way. They have to practice in their rooms. That's their business. So be it. They want to do it in their rooms or their business, it's not their business. And it shouldn't be anybody's business.
It shouldn't be.
They paid their money to come and enjoy themselves. Marry men, enjoy. Whose business is that? In their rooms, not in the open? I don't believe that I have to have anything to do with somebody doing what he wants to do in his bedroom. No matter how it is done, it's not my business. Anybody's business wouldn't be anyone's business. That's my opinion. But if they do it outside, they will fall foul. If they fall foul of the law will of course take it course. No exception for that. We have to preserve the norms, the value, the cultural things that we believe in. Conventions, all those things must be preserved. Nobody can destroy them. But in as much as we work towards their preservation, we must not infringe on somebody's fundamental right of having the right to be himself in his privacy. Yes. That's my life.
That's clear enough.
Yes.
Ahmad, thrilled to have you on the Everywoman Show. In 3 words, what can we look forward to in terms of you being the chosen?
We're looking for an improved
everyone
product
is
quality, standard, and in the numbers, both financial and numbers, both human. We hope to enable this.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ba.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure
It's a pleasure
to have
talking
you.
to you.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.